am 100% sure that every single one of you can think back to a time where you were rejected and it completely shattered you, completely shook you. I know there have been many times where I have felt horrible after being rejected, whether that be from a human or a job or a social situation. It is fucking painful. And in this episode, we are going to talk about rejection. We're going to talk about the psychology behind it, why it hurts so bad, and how you can actually use rejection to spark even more drive and even more fulfillment out of your career and your life, honestly. So
let's go.
Let's get into it. Welcome to Untitled,
a podcast and educational brand where the nostalgia of higher education meets the sharp edge of a corporate boardroom.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Alex.
And together we deliver no BS insights for ambitious freelancers, corporate climbers, multi-hyphenates, and business owners.
By challenging the limits of a single title, we're here to empower you to redefine success
and make your work work for you. Class is in session. Lesson 1, rejection and physical pain use the same pathways in our brain. So this really explains why rejection hurts so bad. The areas of your brain that become activated when you're feeling physical pain are the same areas of your brain that are activated when you get rejected. Did you know that?
I did not.
It's kind of crazy.
I mean, it makes sense though, because when you feel that rejection, it is so visceral.
Yeah, you have like the feeling in your chest, the feeling in your stomach. It can last for weeks.
Months,
years. No, but seriously, the podcast, The Psychology of Your 20s, I love that podcast. Have you heard of it?
I do. I love that podcast too.
They talk so much about this in one of their episodes. And another thing that they talk about is how fundamental the feeling of acceptance is as human beings, like feeling accepted, feeling like you belong somewhere. And there's a deep science behind it. Like instinctively as human beings, we crave connection, we crave belonging. And it goes all the way back to when we were hunters and gatherers. Like back in those times, if you didn't have people around you accepting you or like being a part of the group, it could sometimes mean life or death.
No, like all the time.
Like all the time.
Yeah. And you know what this reminds me of? Our episode where we talked about anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Anxiety is like...
That was our first episode.
Yeah, but it's so rooted in like that hunter-gatherer energy because anxiety was a life or death. It was a tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And back in those times, our brains developed that way. So our brains developed in a way that alerted us to potential rejection because rejection was or could have been fatal. I think oftentimes we forget that although the world has evolved so much, our brains are the same.
Yeah.
And like rejection isn't going to lead us to death, but our brain still reacts using those pain receptors. And so, at least for me, I think it's just helpful to understand the science behind rejection and how the psychology behind it all, because I'm knowing that like when I feel those feelings of rejection from whatever it is, I know that my brain is just doing what it's designed to do. And it makes it feel like a little bit less personal, I guess.
Yeah, or just like less heavy.
Right.
Like, oh, this is just a feeling that I'm moving through. And then you're like through it. Just like you can get used to certain like pain tolerance, you can also like get used to rejection.
100%.
And I think it's a muscle that you build.
Yes.
Like, and the soreness every time you come back from the rejection gym is going to be less and less. Like you can get stronger at handling it. The only way to get better at handling rejection is by experiencing it more.
I always say this.
So it's like, if you're going to get better at it, you have to experience it more. You have to put yourself in positions where you are going to get flat out rejected. And I think it's our tendency as humans, just like back to the example of like hunters and gatherers and like being in this little village, is to like not stand out or like put ourselves too far out there where the risk of rejection is higher. But I think you have to take that risk.
Yes.
Like you need to put yourself in situations where the risk of being rejected is so high, because who cares?
Yes.
Like who cares? If you get rejected, great. Now you can work on that. And if you don't get rejected, great. You found your people. Like I just think that there's positives either way.
It's crazy that you say that, because I swear, every single episode, I know the first episode I say this, but if you're scared of feeling a certain emotion, you need to put yourself in the experience to feel it, to get over it.
Yeah.
Like if you're scared to start that business, like I mentioned this in so many episodes, like I probably every single one at this point, but if you're like scared of rejection and you're scared of like how that might make you feel, go get rejected. Put yourself in a situation where you are going to get rejected. Flex that muscle. I love that example. Do you remember losing your first client? Have you ever lost a client?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I mean, like,
that should be my first question.
so many.
Yeah. Do you remember losing your first client and how that felt?
I don't actually remember. Do you remember yours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I remember sobbing. I thought it was like the end of the world when I lost my first client.
Yeah.
And it felt like I was being rejected. It felt like there could have been something I did wrong, or just like a lot of self-judgment and all.
That's like turning inward.
Yeah. Yes, exactly what you were saying. Now, if I lost a client, it's part of business. It's life.
Yeah.
I think like the differentiator though, it still hurts if you're really investing a lot of yourself in it. And that kind of brings us into lesson number 2, which is the more investment that you put into something, the more you value it, the more rejection from it is going to sting. So I have an example to share, and I don't think I've ever told you this story.
I'm ready.
This was in 2022. I was doing a huge pitch for a potential client, and I don't normally pitch to clients. I just send them a proposal, but this is someone I really wanted to sign. She was big, and I was like, I gotta sign this girl on. Like, I'm working on this pitch for 2 weeks. Like, day in and day out, I'm working on this pitch. We hop on the call. Pitch goes amazing. They're like, we've never seen anything like this before. Like, you are amazing. We'll be in touch next week. We're just talking to a couple other people. The next week comes and I get an email from them. And I'm like, I know that they're just going to be like, send us the contract. Let's go. The email said, thank you so much for your pitch. Your agency is so cute. We're going to go with someone that's a little bit older and has more experience. And I was like, what?
You're like, okay, bitch slap.
I was like,
that's kind of insane.
I was
insane
like,
email.
Because 1, you're being rejected, and 2, that's so condescending.
Well, and then they gassed you up already.
They gassed me up so much.
They're like, we've never seen anything
like this before. And I'm like, so confident. I put so much value. I invested so much of my time into this. They gave me such positive feedback on call that I expected that, things were going to go my way and I was going to get the contract and everything was going to be great. And then I just got rejected, and then it was just a horrible email. Yeah. And I was just like, thank you for your time. Like, whatever. And a couple things happened after this. 1, I was devastated. So I cried. I was like, what the hell? Like, I just feel so silly. Yeah. Like, no one's taking me seriously. I know that I'm 22 and I'm trying to do my best, but like.
Well, it hit you like in probably one of your most vulnerable, like, perception things, right?
Yes.
Like, you're like, I know I'm young. Yes. I know I'm not as experienced. Yes. And like, you're still going out there and putting yourself out there. And then like when somebody just like hits
Yeah.
you right where it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a month or two later, I don't even know how long it was, I had a different person in the exact same industry submit a lead, and like I ended up signing her on for like a project-based situation, and she was in the exact same industry, and because of all the work that I did,
Yeah, you were ready.
I had her project 50% fucking done.
Yeah.
So like that made me feel really, really good.
Yeah.
After that. And then like a year later, the girl that said my agency was cute came back and was like, the other person just like really didn't work out. Can we try this again? And I had to say no because I didn't have time. So I ended up having to reject them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that also made me feel really good.
Yeah.
Like my books were full.
You're like, sorry, can't take you on.
And
but really cute for reaching out. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We're classy ladies here.
But the whole point is like when you invest a lot into something and you get rejected and it was just like so not what you were expecting and it just throws you into this like spiral, like what the fuck, good things will actually come out of it, because when you work really hard and you put yourself into something, like that's just not a waste of time.
To me, there's always obvious gain
100%.
out of situations.
But that it can get so clouded when you feel these like strong emotions.
No, definitely. But like I think what's underrated about these situations is like the not obvious gain. You know, like we gravitate towards like the most obvious gain, which is like you're going to get that client.
Yeah.
And you're going to make X amount because you onboarded them and you're really excited about the potential that you could, you know, bring to their business. And I think like the less obvious gain is like you having that preparation for something that was meant for you, that's coming, you know? And I think that, I mean, I say this all the time. I know it's so cheesy, but like I'm living my life off of it. And it's like what is meant for you will find you in every aspect. And that is something that I say to myself all the time in business, when I'm sending proposals, when I'm having like conversations with potential partners or like businesses. Like it's so important to understand that you also have the power to undermine rejection. I know personally, I can be really hard-headed, and in specific situations when things aren't flowing, when something isn't flowing, you also have the opportunity to either recognize it's not flowing and choose the current that is flowing, or just keep trying, you know, like she could have sent that email to you and you could have been like, well, why? Or like, you know, like in a more professional way. But I have experienced people like that in my like career, that you like say no and they push back. I'm like, okay, you know, because they are trying to like, I think they're trying to settle this expectation they have in their mind with an outcome.
Yeah.
And I think that you're going to find so much more value in just letting things flow the way that they are supposed to flow. Lesson number 3, rejection is just information. I think that through rejection, we can all learn a lot about persistence as well and being resilient in whatever we're doing. Something you don't know is that I like started in direct sales. When I was getting trained, they told me like, no is just not right now. Follow up in 2 weeks.
Right.
Follow up in 4 weeks.
Correct.
Follow up in 6 weeks. And even though I don't necessarily like 100% believe in that like constant follow-up, what it did teach me was like that rejection just wasn't a big deal. Like I was in an organization where there were 20 plus people on my team that were all getting rejected. Like we're just all sitting there getting rejected all day.
I mean, it's so easy to say that when you're not investing a lot of yourself in it. And
well, I mean, at the beginning though, I did. Like I would come out of calls where, you know, somebody didn't want to work with us or buy the product, and I would be like, it was my fault. like I didn't deliver this well. It was a lot of like self-criticism, and I think that naturally happens when you get rejected.
Yeah.
You like start looking internally.
It makes you think twice.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also like, can we all just like take back some of our power?
Yeah.
I think in these situations, it's easy to be like victim mentality of like, this is happening to me.
Yeah.
And like, yes, it is happening to you, but then what do you do next? What are you going to do next that improves the situation or that is in more alignment with what you want? Lesson 4, there's real value in the word no.
No is one of the most valuable pieces of feedback that you can get. Like if you really think about it, when even something very, very small, when I'm like sending a piece of content in for approval, that the that small rejection actually helps me so much be better, showing up better for my clients. Like I love when my clients say no, especially in the early stages of working together, because it just makes me understand their preferences more. It makes me understand how to work better with them. Like being a yes man is so boring. There's no growth there. And I think because we crave this connection and we crave acceptance, like I talked about in the beginning of the episode, we're so conditioned to chase this validation and we want our client or our business partner to love what we're doing because we're working so hard on it and we're investing a lot of time in it. And when we invest a lot of time into something, we value it a lot and the rejection is going to sting. But when you get the feedback of no, or when you get that rejection, yes, it can sometimes feel like a slap in the face, but seeing no as that like data point or information instead of a dead end to help you grow or get better at whatever you're doing is so valuable. And I think that can be overlooked because, you know, it's in our human nature to have it feel so painful.
No is like a good word. It's not a bad word. If you're going down one path and it's a no, okay, we're going down the other path. And I think majority of the time that leads to better timing, or maybe it's a better client or a better work opportunity or a better relationship with somebody. Like, I also think that when you hear no, there's an opportunity to receive no in a graceful way.
Correct. There's either you can receive no in a reactive way, or you can receive no in a respectful, responsible way.
Yeah, but I also think it's like, if no is a good word, like to you, at your core, you believe no is a good word, you aren't reactive. When somebody says no to you, your instant response isn't to go into this defensive mode.
Instinctively,
right?
it is. Instinctively, it is. So you have to train.
You can retrain it.
Right. And like what you were saying, it's kind of like a muscle that you have to like continue working.
Yeah.
But it's not just something that comes natural to us.
No, definitely not. But I think that, you know, that reactivity is, a lot of it has to do with insecurity.
Guys, this was our last episode of spring semester.
We also have one more free homework resource for you. It's going to be linked in the show notes as always. And there's going to be something included in this homework that we want you to complete before you come back for the fall semester.
If you guys haven't been doing the homework, you're crazy because it's that we've been getting such good feedback from the people that are doing the homework, like people actually starting their businesses, people actually like really getting so much more out of these episodes because they're actually taking their learning from passive to active. So I highly encourage you, if you've been a listener and you've been listening and you've been loving the podcast, stop just passively learning and take your passive learning into active learning. Like we always say, we have these free homework resources ready for you and they are incredible. And the feedback that we're getting is so good.
Yeah. And I was having a conversation and I think that it's very common for us to undervalue things that are free. And I just don't want you guys to undervalue these resources. Like, we've put a lot of time and energy into the homework. Each homework is tailored to each episode. And even if you're just listening to this episode for the first time, like, all of our episodes come with free homework. And like Sophie mentioned, we're getting really amazing feedback from everyone that is filling it out. And also, don't feel pressure to do the homework perfectly.
Yeah.
If you start the homework and you do the multiple choice and you do, one section out of it, you're still taking an active role in your learning. And don't feel the pressure to like do all of the homework every time. Do what fits your situation, what is going to bring value to you, and let us know how you like it.
This semester, we've talked about burnout, boundaries, self-worth, delegation, rejection, and all of the messy moments in between. And throughout all semester, we have said one thing over and over and over again, and it is that you do not need to do any of it perfectly. You just need to keep showing up.
This is our final episode of the semester. We're taking the summer to reset, rebuild, and get ready for what's next, fall semester. Thank you for listening, sharing, and sending us all of your takeaways this semester and reminding us why we both started this in the first place.
We'll be back this fall with new lessons, new homework, and who knows what else.
If you found value in Untitled's first semester ever, please share about it.
Leave us a review and send us a message. We want to hear from you guys.
And follow us on socials.
Please.